Should you let your child quit? Sometimes it is so hard to know what the right parenting decision is. The reason it's so hard to know the right answer is because the answer is it depends. Every child, every situation, every activity is different. But don't worry, there's a science-backed way to figure out what is actually in the best interest of your child. Hi, I'm Sabrina Ragan, psychologist and mom of three, and I know firsthand the challenges when your child wants to quit. It's normal to feel torn. Do you encourage them to keep going? Or do you honor their feelings and allow them to step away from the activity? What we really want to do is balance teachable moments with your child's well-being. I want to cover what to do in this video when your child does want to quit. But first, I want to list some very real moments of when it's okay to let your child step away from an activity. And in fact, a very wise thing to do because sometimes quitting is actually the healthy option. So here's the quick list. Unsafe or toxic environments like harsh coaching or bullying, overwhelming stress or burnout, health concerns or injuries, conflicts with school or family schedules, activities that no longer fit their developmental stage, and family resources or logistics. These are very real reasons to consider quitting, and understanding them can help you feel confident in making the best decision for your child. I want to share a quick story from my own life when my daughter was little. All of my kids have taken swim lessons, and my youngest is no exception. But her first swim lesson experience was really traumatic. When she went to the pool, it was quite an overwhelming experience. The particular time that they chose to do the swim lessons for these young kids, there was lots of school field trips happening. So there was tons of people within the pool. In addition to that, there was a loud water park that was right beside her class, causing a lot of noise and a lot of splashing. And the instructor was actually quite harsh on these little ones. Instead of being gentle and patient, she would yell at them and she would yank them in and expect them to do what she was asking them to do, but very forcefully. So after several days of allowing this to happen, she became quite scared and had meltdowns every time we tried to go to the pool. And I realized she wasn't scared of swimming. It was a very chaotic environment that created a traumatic experience for her within the pool. I realized quitting in this case wasn't actually giving up, but it was giving her some emotional safety from the experience. So I switched her to private lessons in a quiet pool where it was just her and the instructor. She fell in love with the water again. This taught me that sometimes quitting is the healthiest choice. So if you're feeling torn about letting your child quit, you're not alone. Let's walk through how to have the conversation with your child and how to make a choice in their best interest. Number one, start with empathy. Listen to your child's feelings first. No fixing, no advice. Just tell me how you're feeling about this. Feeling heard and feeling like you understand helps them open up to talk to you a little bit more about what might be going on for them. Number two, validate their feelings. So here you want to say back what you hear. You can say something like soccer practice is really tiring and you often feel left out. Validation also doesn't mean that you agree with how they're feeling. It means that you understand them and that they feel felt and understood by you. The goal is for them to feel like you get them. Number three, find the underlying issue. So you can gently ask, what's the hardest part of practice for you? Or what's changed since you've started playing soccer? And also in doing this, you actually might be helping them understand why they're feeling the way they feel and uncover a problem that they didn't know was the actual issue. Walking through this process helps them understand themselves too. And by you identifying their feelings, validating their feelings, and then exploring what some of the problems might be, you're helping organize inside of them a lot of what might be going on. Some kids will know this, many won't. And so walking through this process, you're actually teaching them some really good self-awareness and self-regulation skills. So number four, normalize the challenges. Let them know it's okay to struggle. Share your own experiences. For example, I know what it was like when I was little. I really wanted to quit piano and it was really hard to continue. This teaches them that challenges are normal and actually might be a really good thing for them to struggle through. Number five, define a time frame. Instead of saying yes or no, let them know that you require them to commit until the end of the season or the end of the year, and then they can decide whether they continue the following season or choose to do something else. As long as there's no emotional or physical safety concerns, this actually helps teach your child the life skill that when they commit to something, they need to follow through on that commitment. But it's also not a life sentence, as it's honoring their feelings that maybe this isn't the right activity for them. Maybe it's something that they thought they liked and they realize they don't like anymore. And so allowing them the opportunity to choose something different next year helps honor those feelings while also teaching them the life skill of commitment and follow through. Number 6, offer choices and some control. So you can ask something like, since we're finishing out the season, what might make it more fun for you to show up? Or is there something small that we can tweak to help you enjoy it more? Giving them a choice in how they show up, or find a way to make it more fun while they're there, or even a family tradition of something that you do on the way home, like stop for hot chocolate and a donut, helps them stay engaged and gives them a sense of control and commitment with the activity. Reaffirm unconditional love. You can say something like, I love watching you play, but I want you to know that no matter what happens out there, I love you no matter what. This is important because it reminds them that your love isn't tied to winning or perfectionism or quitting, that it's always there unconditionally. Number 8, focus on effort and growth. In this one, you want to highlight the effort that it takes for them to show up, the effort that they put into learning the skills, and that it's not about perfectionism, it's not about winning, it's about growing and learning and having fun. Sometimes kids are so focused on the end goal, they're so focused on the winning or focused on whether other kids are better than them or not, that they sometimes struggle with whether they measure up. And so many times kids want to quit because it's hard. It's hard watching other kids do something that comes a little bit easier for them. It's hard maybe not being first at what they do. And so they want to give up. And here, affirming to them that it's about their effort, it's about showing up, it's about their motivation. And it's not about the product. It's not about winning or perfectionism. It's not about whether they're first place that you're proud of and that they should be proud of. This will help them with their engagement in the activity as well. Number 9, ensure active alternatives. This one is really important, whether they commit to the activity or whether they quit. And especially if they quit because there's something else involved, like it's traumatic or there's a safety concern of some sort in the list that I gave right at the beginning of the video. And the reason I say this is because you don't want them just to quit everything and then have nothing. You want them to be able to have something to go to that might be in their best interest, that might be something that motivates them or something that causes them to develop a skill in a different area. And here you want to brainstorm with them what that might be. So they might have some very, very fun ideas of skills that they want to learn. You might have some ideas that they never thought of, and you guys can compile a list together to come up with lots of different things, lots of different activities that they could choose to do. What's important to note is that the activity that they choose should be one that their personality is drawn to, not one that we want to live out our dreams in. And I think sometimes kids get stuck in activities that they never really were interested in the first place, but it's an interest of their parents. And so they're put in that by a matter of circumstance where parents can live out their dreams watching their kids experience this activity, where kids might have something very, very different that they love. And it's important for them to find their own path if they're going to be fully committed and fully engaged in following through with that activity. And then in the end, once they've hit the milestone that you guys agreed upon, it's important to look back. You can do this all along through the activity as well. Looking back, what are you learning? How are you growing? What are you enjoying? But at the very end of the milestone, to reaffirm the fact that even though they wanted to quit, that they made it. They got to the very end of the activity. Number 10, reflect and look forward. After they finish the milestone that you guys both agreed upon, it is so important to encourage them and their efforts in completing the activity, even though it was so tough and they wanted to quit. Here you want to celebrate. Here you can tell them that even though they wanted to quit, it's something to be really, really proud of. And then ask them, what parts did you love? What parts did you learn? And what were some of the more challenging parts? This reflection helps them look back to see that their commitment and effort make a difference, especially when something's hard and they committed to it and followed through. When you can reflect and point out these positive behaviors, they're more likely to continue. So next time your child is faced with a challenge, their motivation to continue is going to be that much more. One thing I didn't cover in this video is what to do when your child anxiety is the reason your child wants to quit. Letting them quit, saying yes to them might feel like the gentle and kind thing to do, but actually might harm them in the long run, and making them stay committed to an activity is so much better because anxiety likes to avoid. And so by allowing them to quit, that might intensify that experience of anxiety for this activity or others to follow. So the best thing is to keep going gently with lots of support. So what do you do in these moments? I covered that in this next video where I talk about what to do when your child experiences severe separation anxiety. By using these 10 strategies, you're not just deciding to let your child quit. You're showing them how to face challenges, listen to themselves, and problem solve around it so that they can face these challenges better in the future. I really hope this video gave you some clarity and confidence on what to do next time your child says, I want to quit. If you faced this, share your story in the comments, and I would love to hear how you handled it and how your child faced this challenging moment. And if you're looking for more ways to face those challenging parenting moments, click the link below to download your free parenting survival guide. It's packed with practical tools and scripts to help your child navigate those challenging emotional moments. You're not alone. I am cheering for you. If you need anything or have any other questions or have an idea for a video you want to see in the future, write it in the comments below. Until next time, have a wonderful day.